Hello everyone. Today my teammate Vincent, Matt, and I will talk about do hotels and hospitality need to do more to stop human trafficking? As many people know, Pretty Woman is an iconic movie that centered on the fantasy of a sex worker street working her way into a millionaire's heart. While the movie is a romantic comedy, it actually normalizes something that can destroy lives. Human trafficking is a trade of humans for the purpose of forced labor, sexual slavery, or commercial sexual exploitation for the trafficker or others. This may encompass providing a spouse in the context of forced marriage or the extraction of organs or tissues, including for surrogacy and ovary removal. Human trafficking is the third largest crime industry in the world, behind drug dealing and arms trafficking, and is the fastest growing activity of transnational criminal organizations. The Work Free Foundation's Global Slavery Index from 2018 estimates 45.8 million victims of human trafficking worldwide, of which 71% are women. Several factors are fueling human trafficking, including increasing migration due to economic disparities between countries, lack of punitive measures, and the disturbingly high profit and low cost of buying a human being. The average cost of a slave is $90. Because many of our audiences are thinking about working in the hospitality industry in the future, we have to seriously consider how to prevent human trafficking from happening anymore. In fact, the hospitality industry is highly vulnerable to human traffickers, especially when it comes to child sexual exploitation and forced prostitution, forced criminality, domestic servitude, and forced labor in hotels. Research estimates that there are 1.14 million victims in the European hospitality industry. So why are hotels so vulnerable to human trafficking? Because their revenue streams and operations are increasingly being automated. For example, automatic check-ins, check-outs, third-party reservation systems, non-mandatory registration and identification, guest privacy and anonymity, or prevent hostelers and staff members from knowing the real identity of their customers or what they're doing behind closed doors. Employment practices and corporate culture also facilitate human trafficking, including priority of meeting customers' requests that sometimes exceed ethical boundaries, lack of background checks on new employees, lack of awareness of employees, and lack of training to spot signs, fear of retribution by staff if they report suspected incidents, and lack of clear measures to address human trafficking. Now, Vincent will go deeper about the reason why we should stop human trafficking from happening.
Thanks, Angie, for giving deeply explanation about what is human trafficking and what is the current situation of the number of cases of human trafficking. Next, I'm going to focus on one severe and important problem, which is why should we do something to stop human trafficking, especially in the hospitality industry. I want to start out by talking about why even we should care about human trafficking. Human trafficking is a big social justice problem, and the essence of trafficking is the forced exploitation of individual by those in the position exert power over them. For us, it's easy to forget about injustice when we don't have to look the victim in the eyes. How often do we feel pang of guilt when driving past a panhandler, but quickly forget as we get further down the road? When all is well in our lives, it's easier to be just thankful for our blessing, say a prayer for those who hurt, and move on. Therefore, for the most of us, when we see the news on TV or on the internet about human trafficking, we will feel horrific and sad for those victims, but we did not take any action for the most of time. Many people might think that the only responsibility falls to the government and the police department. Well, parts of it, because human trafficking happens so often, it can happen to anyone, anytime, and anywhere. Ignoring the problem is way too easy. However, when one day the troubles comes to someone you know and to your family, it would just be too late to stop. We definitely want to beat the beast before the beast knocks us out. If we be together and do something, we should be able to stop human trafficking. especially for the hospitality industry. Why? Because commercial sex taking place within hotels and motels often maintain the most diverse range of victims, as the customer base for commercial sex in hotels and motels is as diverse as the general hotel customer base. Data from the National Human Trafficking Hotline shows that at least 7.7% of human trafficking cases reported in 2016 were based in hotels and motels, the most common location of the abuse to occur. Indeed, hotels and motels are common sites for human trafficking. They not only offer affordable and easy accessible location for commercial sex acts, but they also provide privacy and normality for both traffickers and trafficked individuals. So, hospitality industry must be a part to stop human trafficking as a whole. Next, my teammate Matt will focus more about how hospitality industry taking action to stop human trafficking.
As Angie and Vincent has discussed, hotels play a significant role in human trafficking. Hotels offer traffickers a private location to shelter victims before transporting them, and a place to conduct business. Hotel staff management and owners need to play a part in spotting and preventing sex trafficking. The best way to deter these criminals and stop the exploitation is to train staff to identify victims and give them permission to report suspicious activity. The most powerful tool the hospitality industry has is training staff. Hotel companies and franchises profit from sex trafficking operations being run out of their establishments. Some are aware of it, some are not, and should be. Insurance companies are also starting to kick in with concerns about policy coverage for hotels that are found liable for crimes committed on their premises. Increasingly, hotels can suffer heavy damages if found guilty. Insurance cannot protect a hotel if it is clear evidence that hotel staff was aware of the incidents and failed to act. Insurers of the hospitality industry must make it a priority to educate their clients on the importance of staying attentive and identifying warning signs. Let's get down to the nitty-gritty. The front desk is the gateway to the hotel. The front desk sees the money. They need training to help them spot a pimp or a trafficking victim from a normal business or leisure customer. There are warning signs like, does the same person reserve multiple rooms? Is it rented by the hour? Do they pay in cash? Do they have luggage? Does the registered guest and potential pimp bring a lot of guests and do it frequently? Does the potential victim lack ID? Does the potential victim show signs that they are monitored or lack freedom? Is their dress inappropriate or not in keeping with the others in their party? Does the potential victim show signs of malnourishment, sleep deprivation, poor hygiene, injuries, unusual behavior? Does the potential victim show fear by avoiding eye contact? And let's not forget that housekeeping staff also needs to be trained to report to management if any warning signs occur, such as requests for new linens but deny entry in room, refusing housekeeping services, or extended do not disturb signs, excessive sex paraphernalia, use condoms in room. Last, the food and beverage staff are particularly important warning system. The bartender at a hotel bar is a key observer of the transactional stage of the sex trafficking. A bartender can be trained to identify victims. Every educational program for employees needs to include a reporting process on the back end. For small and medium hotels without their investigators and security, local law enforcement should be consulted. Human trafficking is a serious crime, especially when it's minors. Police will respond aggressively if called about children. Many police departments still consider the sex worker and criminal and prostitution a crime. Few have recognized that women are victims. Prevention is the best way to ensure a hotel does not perpetuate human trafficking. Hotels are the venue of choice for the trafficking business. Like it or not, hotels also bear increasingly responsibility both ethically and legally for the crimes committed under the roof. It is not a victimless crime. We have tried to illuminate the various aspects of this complex issue.